blood in the grasslands. The heat shimmers across the endless savanna. Tall grass ripples in waves, hiding both life and death within its golden blades. A small band of Australopithecus afarensis, barely more than 30 souls, moves as one body through the parched landscape. Women carry infants bound close to their furred chests, their eyes scanning the earth for roots and tubers. Young males, lean and long-armed, fan out along the edges, stones in hand, ready for sudden danger. They are not wandering idly. Hunger drives them. The rainy season has ended weeks ago, and the waterholes shrink to muddy basins teeming with crocodiles and flies. Game animals migrate further each day. The tribe knows, if they cannot find food before nightfall, the young will weaken, and weakness is death. Ahead, one of the scouts halts, spine stiff, nostrils flaring. The others mirror his instinct without words. In the silence, the grass parts. A herd of antelopes grazes on the last patches of green shoots. The prey are skittish, ears flicking, eyes wide. To approach them directly would scatter the herd like dust in the wind. But the tribe knows an older trick. 2 males creep low, circling downwind. Their hands clutch stones sharpened from river pebbles, chipped edges glinting. Women gather dried reeds, twisting them into bundles. Smoke is the silent hunter's spear. One spark from striking stone against stone, and the dry grass hisses to life. The fire is small at first, a crawling tongue of flame, but with careful fanning it grows. The antelopes smell it before they see it. Their heads snap upward, nostrils quivering. Panic spreads through the herd. They scatter toward the only open escape, the narrow gap where the hunters wait. The tribe explodes into motion. Stones whistle through the air. One antelope stumbles, a fractured leg snapping beneath it. The hunters surge forward, their arms swinging, their tools biting deep. The air fills with the scent of iron, the wet thud of blows. The animal thrashes, eyes rolling white, but the tribe presses together, many hands, many strikes, until the trembling ceases. Victory. They gather around the fallen body, chests heaving. The females keep the fire alive, holding off scavengers with its crackling barrier. Children crowd forward, touching the slick blood with reverence. Life will continue, bellies filled, strength renewed. For now. But the savanna never allows peace for long. A distant growl shudders across the air. Low, rolling, vibrating through the soil beneath their bare feet. Heads snap toward the horizon. From the tall grass, a massive shape emerges. Erectus, the saber-toothed predator. Its fangs gleam in the dying light, longer than a man's hand. Hunger burns in its yellow eyes, fixed on the tribe's kill. The antelope's victory is not yet theirs. The tribe erupts into instinctive chaos. Mothers snatch infants, pressing them close. Young males bare their teeth, waving firebrands in shaking hands. The predator slinks closer, muscles rippling beneath spotted fur, tail lashing. One wrong move, and the tribe will lose not just their meal, but their lives. A young male, rash with fear, hurls his stone. It clatters harmlessly against the beast's flank. The saber-tooth halts, then unleashes a roar that splits the sky. The sound drives birds shrieking from the trees, chills marrow, paralyzes hearts. Still, the tribe does not flee. Not yet. Their survival depends on unity. The eldest female steps forward, gripping a burning branch. Her face is creased, her fur silvered with age, but her spine is straight. She thrusts the fire high, the flames hissing and spitting. Others follow, forming a wall of flickering light. For a heartbeat, the world holds its breath. The saber-tooth paces, eyes narrowing, muscles tense as bowstrings. It snarls, but the fire's heat licks too close. After long moments, it slinks backward, melting into the tall grass with a predator's promise, another time. The tribe exhales as one. The carcass remains theirs, but so does the terror. As darkness falls, they drag the antelope toward a rocky outcrop where the night can be endured. Sparks fly as stones are struck again and again until a fire leaps to life. Meat sizzles, fat dripping, smoke curling into the heavens. Children gnaw at roasted scraps, wide-eyed from the day's ordeal. Above, the stars glitter like watching eyes. The tribe huddles close, their bodies pressed together against the cooling wind. No words pass their lips. There are no words yet, but meaning flows in their glances, their touches, their shared warmth. Tonight, they have survived. But deep in the shadows, unseen, another pair of eyes watches the flicker of their fire. Not predator. Not prey. Something else. Another band, another tribe, drawn by the scent of roasted meat. Tomorrow, silence will break with violence. The shadow tribe. The fire cracks and spits as fat drips from the roasting meat, smoke spiraling into the starlit sky. The tribe huddles close, their faces glowing orange in the flicker, their bellies tightening with anticipation. The children's eyes, wide and shining, are fixed on the feast. Hunger gnaws at every rib, but for now, survival feels within reach. Then, stones skitter in the darkness. Every head turns. Ears twitch. Nostrils flare. The night, usually thick with the buzz of insects, feels suddenly too still. A low cough. A sound not from predator, but from another throat shaped like theirs. The shadow tribe steps into view. They are fewer in number, gaunt, their fur patchy from malnutrition. Eyes glint like embers, but not from firelight alone. There is hunger there, sharpened to desperation. In their hands are stones, notched with crude edges, heavy with intent. They circle the outcrop slowly, watching the roasting antelope as if it is already theirs. For a breath, silence stretches, precarious, heavy. The only sound is the hiss of burning fat. The elder female rises, gripping a burning branch. Her chest expands with a hiss of warning, shoulders squared. Behind her, young males bare their teeth, knuckles whitening around rocks. Infants wail, sensing the air thick with danger. The rival leader, taller, more scarred, steps closer. He bares his teeth in a silent snarl and points at the carcass with a jut of his chin. His meaning is clear, give it or die. But hunger has hardened both tribes. There will be no gift tonight. The standoff breaks with sudden violence. A stone arcs through the night, thudding against a shoulder. A cry erupts. Then chaos descends like lightning. Bodies crash together in a storm of snarls, fists, and stone blows. Sparks scatter as firebrands swing wildly. Women drag children into crevices between rocks while the warriors lock in primal fury. One young male of the first tribe lunges, driving a sharpened flake into the thigh of an invader. Blood sprays. The rival howls, collapsing into the dust. But another attacker slams a rock against his skull, sending him sprawling, vision swimming. The elder female thrusts her torch forward, flames licking a rival's chest hair, driving him shrieking back. The night glows with violence, shadowed figures grappling, firelight flickering across blood and sweat. Then the heavens roar. From beyond the horizon, thunder cracks like stones splitting. A sudden wind lashes the grassland, bending the tall blades in waves. Clouds, black as death, devour the stars. The storm descends without warning, savage and immediate. Rain lashes the outcrop, hissing against the fire. Flames sputter, dying into smoke. Darkness consumes both tribes. In the pitch black, the battle halts, not from truce, but from terror. Lightning tears the sky open, revealing both bands frozen, soaked, panting. The fire, the one thing keeping predators at bay, is gone. Fear shifts. No longer enemy against enemy, but both tribes against the storm. Wind howls, ripping branches from trees, sending debris spinning. Infants wail louder, clinging to their mothers. The air smells of ozone and wet earth. The river at the plain's edge swells suddenly, frothing white as rain churns it into a torrent. The elder female calls, not with words, but with a sharp, guttural bark that cuts through the storm. Her band understands. Survival lies in the caves etched into the cliffside. Shelter, stone walls, dryness. They scramble, half carrying the wounded, clutching the remains of their kill. But the shadow tribe follows. Both groups plunge into the mud, racing against the surge of rising water. Lightning flashes again, revealing a sight that freezes blood, crocodiles stirred by the storm, heaving themselves from the riverbanks into the flooding grass. Their jaws snap at anything that moves. Screams fill the storm. A rival male vanishes beneath thrashing water, dragged under in an explosion of spray and crimson froth. The first tribe scrambles higher, slipping, hauling one another up the slick incline. The elder female leads, firebrand clutched though the flame has long gone cold. Behind her, the young male with the bleeding head wound staggers, nearly swept away by the surge, before strong arms drag him up. Finally, they reach the mouth of the cave, a dark wound in the cliffside. They huddle inside, chests heaving, water streaming from their fur. Lightning still rips the sky outside, but here, stone shields them. The shadow tribe arrives moments later, fewer now, their desperation sharpened further by loss. They stare into the cave's mouth where the first tribe crouches, clutching their wounded, guarding what remains of the antelope carcass. Another standoff. But this time, neither side lunges. Both are soaked, exhausted, trembling from the storm. Neither can risk more blood. The storm's fury drowns the urge for battle. Hours pass. Thunder fades to distant rumble. The floodwaters sink back into the earth. The night grows cold. The two tribes sit apart, staring through the darkness, listening to each other's ragged breathing. No words exist to bind them, no tongue to forge peace. Only hunger. Only survival. By dawn, the world is changed. The savanna glistens with fresh mud. Broken trees litter the ground. Predator tracks crisscross the softened soil. And outside the cave, vultures circle. Something vast lies dead in the floodplain. Something too big for one tribe to claim alone. A new trial awaits, whether they face it as enemies or as something else. Flesh of giants. Dawn spills across the drenched savanna, painting the horizon in bruised gold. Mist coils from the soaked grass, heavy with the musk of earth and death. The storm has broken trees like snapped bones, scattered nests, and carved gullies through the mud. The two tribes stir from their uneasy crouch inside the cave. The first tribe clutches what remains of the antelope, stripped, bones cracked for marrow. The rival tribe watches, hollow-eyed, gaunt from loss. Neither side moves closer. They breathe the same air, but the silence between them is a gulf wider than rivers. Then above the cave mouth, vultures wheel. Black silhouettes against pale sky. Their wings beat slow, steady circles. The omen is clear, a body waits. A feast. The tribes emerge, blinking against the morning light. Across the floodplain lies the bulk of something immense. A giant beast of the storm, a young elephant drowned in the night's torrent. Its carcass sprawls half-submerged in the mud, ribs rising like hillocks, skin stretched gray and tight. The sight electrifies both tribes. Stomachs knot. Saliva pools. Infants mule with hunger. For a heartbeat, all freeze, knowing what such a prize means. Then, without signal, both groups break into a run. Feet slap through mud, splattering. The smell of rot thickens as they near. Their hands clutch stone flakes, crude clubs, sharpened sticks. The carcass looms larger, vast and promising. The first to reach it, a young rival female, plunges a flake into its flesh. The skin is tough, resisting, but her persistence tears loose a strip. The smell of fresh meat explodes, iron-rich and sweet. Others join, hacking, tearing, prying. Soon both tribes are upon it, their hands crimson, their mouths streaked as they tear raw chunks free. At first, snarls erupt, one hand slapping another away, teeth bared, stones raised. But the carcass is too large, too much to claim in one grip. The floodplain is awash with meat enough for all. Slowly, instinct bends. They crouch side by side, ripping and chewing, bloodied together in primal communion. For the first time, enemies eat without killing each other. But the savanna never gives without price. From the tall grass beyond, shadows stir. The flood carried more than carcasses, it drew predators. Hyenas. A dozen lean and ragged, their muzzles lifted to the wind. Their giggles slice the morning stillness, cruel and sharp. They slink closer, eyes gleaming, teeth flashing. Behind them, a deeper silhouette moves, a lioness, ribs showing, her maneless form scarred with hunger. The carcass has summoned a court of death. The tribes sense it together. Backs straighten, shoulders tighten, eyes widen. Children are pulled behind, mothers hissing. The hyenas approach, weaving as one, fearless before the crowd. Their laughter crescendos, echoing across the floodplain like mockery. Then, without signal, predators surge. Chaos ignites. Hyenas barrel in, snapping, tearing. One seizes a child by the arm before a stone smashes its skull. Another clamps on a leg, dragging a rival female screaming through the mud, until 3 hunters fall upon it with clubs, beating until bone cracks. The lioness charges through the melee, seizing a bloody strip of elephant flesh and bolting. Hyenas pursue her, a storm of snarls. In moments, the floodplain is a battlefield, tribes and predators clashing in the same desperate frenzy. A young male of the first tribe stumbles, a hyena lunging for his throat. At the last moment, a rival grabs a branch and drives it down, pinning the beast. Their eyes meet, enemy to enemy, now savior to saved. No words, only breath, ragged and shared. The tribes fight not apart, but together. Stones arc, clubs crash, firebrands hastily lit from dry reeds sear fur and flesh. One by one, predators retreat, limping, snarling, leaving corpses in the mud. Blood paints the floodplain in red and black. Silence follows, broken only by panting. Both tribes stand in the churned mud, their bodies bloodied, their hands slick, their eyes locked across the carcass. This time, no stones are raised against each other. Not yet. Instead, they fall again upon the elephant, hacking faster, dragging strips of meat toward higher ground. Children eat until their bellies swell. Infants are smeared with fat, mothers gnawing bone while rocking them against hips. As the sun climbs, bellies are filled, strength seeps back. And something stranger stirs, a rhythm, faint shared. Not words, but grunts that echo each other. A laugh, sharp and sudden, answered by another. The beginnings of something more than survival. But unity is fragile. When dusk nears, and the last scraps of meat cling to bone, eyes sharpen once more. The rival tribe, fewer in number, weakened by loss, knows they cannot hold against the other when hunger returns. Their leader's eyes flick to the women, the children, the wounded. He bares his teeth, a silent vow. The storm gave them food. But storms also end. And when the next hunger rises, blood may again be the only feast. Trial by Fong and Fire. The savanna glows in the copper light of dusk. The tribes crouch around the stripped carcass, their bodies painted with drying blood, their bellies heavy from stolen fullness. But peace sits uneasily, like a stone pressed into bare flesh. The rival tribe watches with hollow eyes, their numbers diminished, their children thinner, their strength worn raw. The first tribe, stronger now, bolstered by the elephant's gift, glances at them with suspicion. There is no language to bind them, no covenant beyond hunger. And hunger always returns. The rival leader rises. His shoulders roll, his scarred face gleams in the setting sun. He grips a jagged stone, its edge wet with meat oil, and points it toward the first tribe. His gesture is a claim, a demand. The next kill will be ours. The elder female of the first tribe answers with a hiss, teeth bared. Her torch is raised, though the flame flickers weak in the cooling air. Behind her, young males snarl, clutching stones. The two bands tense, bodies coiled for violence, children pressed behind the wall of muscle and bone. But before the first blow can fall, the earth itself interrupts. The grass parts. Shadows stretch. A shape returns from the edge of memory, the saber-tooth. The beast from the night before, stalking, patient, waiting for weakness. Now it has come, drawn by the reek of blood and carrion. Its fangs gleam white as moonrise, longer than a man's hand, dripping with saliva. Its growl trembles the ground, a living storm. Both tribes freeze. All quarrel forgotten, replaced by the cold spear of terror. The saber-tooth charges. The floodplain explodes. Mothers scream, dragging infants into arms. Hunters raise stones, but fear cracks their aim. The predator's paw lashes. One male crumples, ribs shattered. Another is dragged into the grass, his cry cut off in a spray of red. Panic surges. The rival leader, desperate, hurls his stone, striking the beast's flank. It barely flinches. The cat whirls, jaws snapping. He falls beneath it, pinned, his howl echoing across the floodplain before silence swallows him. Now chaos reigns. The tribes scatter, some clawing up the slope, others circling, too terrified to flee yet too hungry to surrender the prize of meat. The saber-tooth prowls, tail lashing, eyes fixed on the clustered survivors. The elder female does not run. Her gaze lifts, not to the beast but to the sky, where vultures spiral endlessly. Her torch sputters, almost dead, but fire has been the tribe's weapon before. She slams two stones together, striking sparks, breathes upon the ember of dried grass clutched in her palm. Smoke curls, flame catches. The fire leaps again, fragile but alive. She roars, not a word, but a sound so guttural it shakes her chest. The young males rally. They snatch branches, light them from her flame. Soon, firebrands crackle in trembling fists. Together, they form a half-circle, flames raised. The rival tribe hesitates, but hunger, fear, and memory drive them too. They seize branches, join the wall of fire. For the first time, two tribes stand not apart, but as one. The saber-tooth snarls, pacing, eyes glittering. It lunges, testing the barrier. Flames lick its fur. It recoils, screeching, tail lashing, ears flat. Again and again it circles, looking for weakness. The humans press closer, voices rising in primal cries, stamping, waving fire. For long, brutal minutes, the battle rages, not with claws and stones, but with courage and flame. At last, the beast falters. Fire scorches its whiskers, smoke blinds its eyes. With a final snarl, it retreats into the tall grass, melting into the night. The silence it leaves is deafening. The tribes collapse, panting, trembling, clutching one another. The dead lie in the mud, their blood mingling with rainwater, their faces still. But the living are alive because fire and unity held. The elder female lowers her torch. The rival children stare at her, eyes wide, faces streaked with mud and blood. She exhales, chest heaving, then does something no one has done before. She offers a scrap of elephant meat across the invisible line between tribes. The rival mother, hollow-eyed, accepts. Their hands brush blood on blood. A spark, not of fire, but of something greater. The feast that follows is not of victory, but of survival. Both tribes sit together in the dark, passing bones, gnawing marrow, their shoulders brushing. The flames crackle, smoke curling into the star-pricked sky. Infants fall asleep full-bellied, pressed between bodies that were enemies a day before. Above, constellations glimmer. The same stars that will watch for millions of years as descendants learn words, forge tools, and tell stories of survival. For now, there are no words. Only fire. Only life. The age of silence endures. But tonight, in the fire's glow, the first flicker of something new is born. Cooperation, memory, the seed of myth. They do not know it yet. But in their struggle, the first story has begun. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic adventures.